In my opinion, one of the greatest leaders in economic reform to ever come out of this area of Canada and this area of the world is Dr. Moses Coady. Back in the 90s, I read The Good Society by Dr. John Kenneth Galbraith, and as I was recently reading The Man from Margaree by Alexander F. Laidlaw, I remembered many statements by Dr. Galbraith that are essentially a quotation from Dr. Moses Coady. I'd like to quote Dr. Coady on a few statements here. In page 82 of The Man from Margaree, the first and most important phase of that plan is the universal enlightenment of the people. Social and economic reform will follow as naturally as the night follows the day. On page 83, he said, the people themselves must change their attitudes of mind about the whole question of life in these provinces. He also said, the dynamics for progress in a free society come from enlightenment, knowledge, and ideas. Not single ideas, but sets of ideas integrated to cover the whole gamut of human life. So I do believe that when we read scriptures talking about the deserts blossoming like a rose, like the Messiah somehow being married to the land, we could take this very literally and start thinking in terms of very poor nations, valleys being exalted, and hills or mountains being brought down. It's been said you can only eat so many steaks in a day. If we will reform the monetary system, then it is theoretically possible for the economic productivity of human beings to be essentially without limit. Money does answer all things, and we are looking at problems of money. Now, one of the most interesting things that's in front of all of us is that we are so free here in Canada that if we wanted to do it, we could form film cooperatives and we could form economic cooperatives where we printed a local currency unit and began to use that local currency unit as a prop in various films and come up with ideas that are interesting to those of us here as well as interesting to people elsewhere. So in my opinion, organized barter and film production could be another level to the Antigonish movement, taking it up to another level. We can tie all this in with combating climate change in such a way that we feed hungry people, that we actually, literally turn the deserts green. That can be through aquaculture, through desalination projects, and they could be funded. The ideas can get out there through films. We can put all this together. The desert can blossom like the rose. All nations can worship the Lord in holiness because we see things happening that we know God was involved. Now, he may hide himself, and the Holy Spirit may hide themselves, and Jesus may hide themselves. We don't know. We don't know exactly what's going to happen next. We don't know how much is done by miraculous power and how much is up to us. But I do believe very firmly that we, as followers of the King, of the Creator, can ask for understanding. We can ask for wisdom, even in questions relating to climate change that are so astonishingly complicated that they're beyond belief. Or are they? Or are they actually kind of simple? Is turn the deserts green and producing food for hungry people and addressing the issue of poverty. Is it one of the best ways to address climate change? I believe it is. I'll repeat again. If 1 billion hungry people each spend $1,000 on food that was produced in the desert, $1 trillion has been directed at climate change very effectively. Dr. Chaim Tejman, one of the most brilliant theorists on theoretical physics, he talks about how plants have this astonishing capacity to affect the climate and the environment. So anyway, I believe all this comes together. I believe we're living in a fascinating age when miracles will be shown. Water will change into wine. We look at the ideas on climate change one way, but God can do a miracle and cause us to look at this a different way. We could become climate skeptics who believe that the bad people, the socialists, are out there to get us good, holy, righteous Christians, and we could become hostile, or we could become part of the solution and become some of the leaders in effectively combating climate change. The choice is ours.